Hello, everybody. We are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo. This is my forever co-host John, and for this week, we're talking about a studio that has gone up in fame and popularity, and a lot in quality. Not saying that was ever lacking quality, but there are a few studios where when you see the logo, you go instantly go ooh. That used to be Marvel Studios, where you see the Marvel logo and you see the panels of comic books, and you're either guaranteed for a great time or just a fun time. With Star Wars, it used to be the 20th century logo of like the bright, loud noise, and then the Star Wars theme, and then of course the Disney castle for every Disney animated or Disney live action movie. But now when you see A24, that's the studio where you go, whoa, I'm in for a treat. I'm in for something, definitely.
Well, what's nice about A24 is that, I don't know, sure, they're a hit or miss. I would say bodies, great, but, like, a lot of times they don't miss.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they got a good track record. Like, for a studio that's over 10 years old.
Yeah.
Or is 10 years old. I don't know when they started.
Neither do I. I just noticed them during 2015 with, like, Ex Machina. And, like, Green
For
Room.
me, it was Hereditary and...
Yeah, and like we've already done a couple of them, a couple of A24 movies already with like The Lighthouse or Macbeth or of course Everything Everywhere All at Once, and so this week is all dedicated to them and what they really do well is family dramas, and yes, maybe one day we'll have another A24 lineup for like the other genres they do, but for now we're talking about the genre they have seemed to perfected, and like one good example is the movie we're doing now, Waves, starring Sterling K. Brown, and like is a debut for a lot of the younger actors. Like I think this is one of their first big movies for like Emily and their son.
Yeah, and it is would you say this is a coming of age movie?
Definitely.
I thought it was more of vibes. When we watched, I was like, God damn, this shit was heavy.
Yeah, I think I first watched this during the lockdown. I was like, I've heard good things about A24. Why not? And then, I mean, I did research before then. So I was like, oh, A24, why not? I like The Witch and The Lighthouse, so why not give this a try? And just left my seat being like, what did I watch?
That's too much to handle.
Yeah.
But they do just focus on this one family.
Yeah.
And I did get a little confused that they, like midway through, they do split it into two parts.
Yeah.
Like into two arcs, or I was like, oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
I really thought what like A24 is really good at is like, they don't really follow the flow of traditional way of like storytelling when it comes to cinema.
Yeah.
Here, just sometimes go all over the place, but they do it so well to the point where you're like, okay.
Yeah, and
Enough.
also can't be stressed enough that this movie is like visually and audibly like pleasing, or like just I don't know, just like loud. It's a loud, visually pleasing movie. Like as loud as sometimes as Oppenheimer, but like the music, you're like it's a bit intense.
Yeah. And the mixture of like, I do hear like Tyler, Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Frank Ocean is a pretty big one here.
Yeah.
And
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar was here too. And I think the standout one was Frank Ocean,
Yeah.
since he was in the trailer, like in the music video.
Yeah. And like also the cinematography is amazing to look at. Like no wonder you just thought this movie was just vibes, the movie. Until you rewatch it, you're like, oh, okay.
Because I was like, oh, I've seen Waves. It's just like me talking to other friends while drinking a beer, and then having the movie like at the corner of my eye. Rewatching for this review, I was like, I wish I was paying more attention. God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, like this, as you mentioned before, the first half is a coming of age story for Tyler, who is already a high school senior. He's in the wrestling team. Life is looking up for Tyler for the most part, and like you get the sense of how his family interacts with his dad, Ronald, played by Sterling K. Brown, and the wife, Catherine, played by I forgot the name, but like she was the stoic lawyer in She-Hulk. She's also in Hamilton, if memory serves correct. But yeah, you get the typical like very strict dad, and like the somewhat less strict mom.
I don't know how to put the mom, but we definitely know a couple of dads like this one.
Yeah.
Where he is the overachiever, had potential but wasn't able to, like, oh, I got a knee injury, sadly I couldn't chase those dreams. Had a father.
Yeah.
Like, they're both jacked.
Yeah.
The son and father. Like, so you can tell, like, there's the overachieving family.
Yeah.
The medals on his wall. He is on top of his class, I think. And,
yeah.
He's doing wrestling.
And like, I don't know, before this, I knew wrestling like this existed. I just never knew it was almost like national football levels of like, people are like, this is your chance to make it big. In America, at least.
I think, we do have wrestling.
I don't think we really have wrestling as much as America.
I don't think it's as popular.
Yeah. Because like, in America, I think that leads to, you know, bigger and better choices. Like, you can sign up with a bigger company like WWE if you wanna, or you can go any other direction.
I don't know if that's how it goes.
I don't know either.
I think you're thinking more of like Olympics.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Olympics, and then usually sometimes they go, you know.
Yeah, scholarships and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire start of this movie is just Tyler, and we see how good his life is. He has a great girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's achieving pretty much everything.
Yeah.
We do see the relationship between him and his dad.
Yeah.
Where the dad does push him a little too much. Where if he does great, it ain't enough.
Yeah.
Like he won a competition with him. His dad's like, see, it's all about technique. You could have like pinned him 20 seconds earlier. I'm like, really? No good job.
Yeah.
No thumbs up or anything. Okay.
And they it's like, can I at least get a fist bump, dad? Nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing. Nah, it ain't good enough.
Yeah, and like his dad, he's never really good enough for his dad. Like whatever he does, his dad's like has this like condescending look on him, like especially in church when he's like, I'm so tired, school's so overbearing, and he just falls asleep. This dad just like, you're like, Sterling K. Brown has that certain look of like, I don't want him to be my dad.
Yeah, the disapproving father.
Yeah.
And then and through the stress and all the weight on his shoulders, this son, he does go to drugs or just to relieve a little bit of the stress, right? Especially since he's starting to
injure his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you see, he's slipping into like pain reliever dependency mixed with like alcohol, and you're like, that can't be good. That never ends well. Yeah. And like he does go to the doctor to be like, how bad is my shoulder? And the doctor's like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, I know it's hella bad.
Yeah.
To a point where like we could stop it from getting worse, but you can't go back to what you were before.
Yeah, he can't wrestle anymore. And then like, yeah, he's bargaining too. It's like, what if I just do this for a bit and then come back for surgery? And the doctor's like, no, absolutely not. It's gonna get worse. Yeah. Stop, please, Tyler, I'm begging you.
Yeah, but of course, seeing how the kid is raised in the environment that he's in, he doesn't want to disappoint his father.
Yeah, and like, you get the feeling that Alexis is the only person he can really open up to. And like, he does spend most of his time there. But like, again, the movie drops of like, hints of like trouble is coming about. Like, after the night he spends with Alexis, she's like, I'm kind of worried because I haven't had my period yet. You're like, oh, okay. Shit.
Here we go.
Yeah. We're like...
No, dude, like, I think for some watching this, I was like, oh, it's just, a teen movie. Kind of like Lady Bird. Kind of like, oh, it doesn't really have to go that hard. It fucking goes hard.
Yeah, like, all these problems start, like, mounting up, and you're like, where's this movie taking me?
Right? Like, oh, shit, she's pregnant. Ah, shit, sadly, he's not taking it well.
Yeah.
And he wants to get an abortion. But she doesn't want to get it.
Yeah. And like it really starts falling apart after the wrestling match where his shoulder just separates. Like watching that, like it's kind of like A24 has a great job of like building tension and giving you anxiety of like the simplest things. You're just like, like Tyler, please don't.
Yeah, and like the stakes aren't even that big.
Yeah,
Like legit, it's a high school wrestling match, but to this kid, you could feel the weight on his shoulders.
yeah,
Especially like the eyes that has. I was just like watching him like do his thing. I'm like, Jesus.
yeah. Like I know some people don't like movies like this because it's just the stakes aren't like Thanos is not snapping half the universe away. But you're like, yeah, but to the kid, the entire weight of the world is on his shoulders, and one of his shoulders doesn't work anymore. So what the fuck is he gonna do now?
But like, it is relatable. Right?
Yeah.
For sure, a lot of people want to watch that. But
Yeah,
to the demographic of what this movie's like towards, you can tell that like a majority of kids kind of like, yeah, we do have a father that we want to like make him proud and all that.
Yeah.
And shit.
am I enough? Am I enough?
Am I enough?
But yeah,
I think this movie no.
apparently not. Poor Tyler, like his struggles keep growing. Like he has to take his girlfriend to the abortion clinic, and like it's already like a frying pan situation.
Were you like kind of scared?
Yeah,
I forgot the scene was here. Like the security guard comes in and is like, "Hey, these people outside the abortion clinic who are protesting are kind of crazy and they got guns."
yeah.
Just, oh,
I thought the shot was going to ring out. So again, I was just
Same-
like
same here.
gripping the seat. I was like, oh god, what's going to happen?
I wasn't watching when the scene popped up the first time I was going at it, and then
Yeah,
for this review, I was like, "Is the girlfriend gonna die?"
yeah. And then like nothing really happens in the clinic except like Alexis decides to keep the baby, and Tyler's just freaking the fuck out because he's like, we're high schoolers. We shouldn't have a baby. And in your mind, you're like, well, you should have worn protection, you idiot. Should have known better. You're in high school.
Yeah. But like, plus you can't be like, oh, just keep it. For sure, the family was. Have you seen his dad? Have you?
Have you met the father? Like your
Yeah.
Alexis' father seems pretty chill, and her mom too.
Yeah.
Like, at least then you would be like, all right, we'll support you. Like, if it comes to Tyler's father or his parents, like he might not ever leave his house again.
No, but like it does like. They do give you hints that the dad is kind of like a person who'd been like, oh, if you fuck up, you could just leave the house,
Yeah,
kind of guy, you know, like
But,
he'll
like,
kick you out.
the confrontation scene they had like earlier when he's like, I paid you to do this properly. I'm not paying you to do your thing. I'm paying you to do my thing. Like Tyler's just giving him attitude, and the dad just like gives him the dad. He's just like, enough. Listen to me. You're like, oh, okay. So
Listen to me.
also the argument between Tyler and Alexis in the car, like it just feels too real. Of like, I feel like this conversation goes down a lot.
To be honest, I wouldn't gone at it that way, but I was like, ooh, this just sounds like a Kendrick Lamar album.
And then like, yeah, it's not Hollywoodized either. Like usually, I don't know. If it's by another studio, you feel like it would be a bit more music, a bit more dramatic.
The argument would have been more coherent.
Yeah,
You know, it would have just been F-bombs after F-bombs.
Yeah.
But this kind of just sounded like two people just...
it's literally like a cameraman
Like,
turn on the camera in the middle of an argument. You're like, I'm uncomfortable.
it's the type where you're like... like your inner Matter desk just comes out and just, I want to just see the drama.
Yeah, and then like he gets into like a binge of like drugs and alcohol that night, and then comes home faded. You're like, oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, the man got crossfaded.
Yeah,
It's just throwing up. And this is where like we see the character of his sister.
yeah. Like throughout the entire first act, his sister's like literally in the background, and you're like, okay. I wonder if she's gonna play a major factor later, because if she doesn't, then why is she so subtly just jumping in and out of like, hi, I'm here, remember that he has a sister. You're like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, especially within the scene of like once it all falls apart.
Yeah,
The prom scene.
yeah, like he has a breakdown because Alexis says we're done because he can't handle the fact that she's keeping the baby, and then he sees like IG photos of the prom with her, I guess, kind of new, no, with her best friend.
No, best friend.
Yeah.
Best gay.
Yeah.
As friends.
And like it's all coming down to a melting pot. Like Tyler's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna go over there and try to win her over or do whatever. I don't really know what was in his mind because he was already drunk as shit. You're like, what are you doing?
Dude, he was drugged out and drunk.
Yeah.
And like as he leaves, he has like a fight with his mom and dad.
Yeah. Like the dad tries to stop him, but he goes for his knee. You're like, oh, okay. For a guy.
For the weakness.
Right? It's like, bullseye, bitch. Didn't think about that, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then, like, he also has to, like, you're not my mom moment to catch her. And she's like, oh, okay, fuck you.
Oh, yeah, we get, like, a subtle, like, backstory to, like, oh, his, like, real mom died, and she's just a stepmom.
She found out later on, but when he says it first, you're like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he the only one? Or, and you find out the full story, like, towards the end of the movie, you're like, interesting way to make a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes to the party and confronts Alexis, and it turns out pretty fucking bad. Like, really bad. Like, they argue, and then he hits her, and then she hits the floor really hard and has a cracked skull, and you're like, what the fuck did you do?
Right? I was like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Shit. I didn't expect that. And then he just started running.
Yeah. Again, the way it's filmed too, like, it's first, like, wide. It's the vertical shot of Tyler.
Yeah, it's like he has the realization he actually killed somebody.
Yeah.
It, like, it turned into my camera back in, like, 2021.
And again, just do a scene with Alexis and, like, other people discovering what happened just feels too real. You're like, again, you feel like a fly on the wall being like, oh, what happened? Oh, God. Why?
Yeah. And, oh, God. Again, with the, like, the sound design and the cinematography, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, how it shows how manic and, like, crazy his, like, head's going.
Yeah.
Like, his mom yelling at him, asking what the fuck's happening, and then you see, like, police lights outside of the house.
Yeah. And you see the sad aftermath, like, they don't even have, like, a funeral scene. They just have a court scene and they're like, oh, Tyler's convicted of second-degree murder. You're like, what?
I was like, what? And then they're like, oh, he's there for life, but, like, since, you know, we're giving him a shot, in 30 years, to parole. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I really thought it was gonna go like, oh, what are they gonna do? Is it a courtroom case now? Like, you know, are they gonna try to lower his sentence?
I thought...
No, we just jump towards the sister's story now.
I thought she would just be in a wheelchair forever. I didn't think they would kill her off. So, like, they say, oh, you're convicted of murder. I was like, what? Fuck!
Yeah. I was
Yeah, and then we jump to Emily's perspective and how hard life becomes. Like, the family starts falling apart. And she also sees, like, social media just being nasty. Like, some people rightfully so are like, I'll miss Alexis. Others are like, oh, Tyler's murder. Family should burn in hell. All of them should die because of him.
Yeah.
You're like, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it's like, I bet he hits her, like, when they were together. I was like, shit. Yeah,
Right.
internet's ruthless.
Yeah. And, like, you just see for Emily go through the motions at first, and you're like, fuck. You even hear, like, the mom and dad, the mom being like, you pushed him. It's your fault. This family's falling apart. This is, like, lost for words. You're like, I don't know where this movie's going. I kind of don't like it. I kind of do, but at the same time, I kind of don't.
It's like, God. I don't know what to say with that scene where she just pretty much blows up at the dad, because I'm like, she has a point, but also you're going a little too far.
Right?
You know?
Thankfully, Emily finds companionship with Luke, played by Lucas Hedges, and you, again, it's one of the, like with Alexis and Tyler, you buy their chemistry as well. You're like, you know what, I like this fit. And like,
yeah, it was the most awkward, like, how would I say this?
awkward way,
interaction.
yeah, like when he was asking
This
her
is
out.
This is the like embodiment of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and he took that shot. And I was like, yeah, that's the way it looks like, and he won.
Yeah, again,
Man looked like he was about to miss, but he
you're
got
right. Again with A24, it's like the moment when he's shooting a shot, and you're kind of uncomfortable at the same time. You're just like, yeah, come on, you can do it.
it. Yeah, I was like, you could
Yeah.
because we're like we've all been there.
Yeah. And again, it's not, too Hollywoodized. It's just the right amount of realness where you're like, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. No,
Yes, exactly.
yeah. And then they form a nice relationship, and you're like the entire time just like, I hope it doesn't go to shit. I hope it doesn't go to shit. Please, movie, stop. If it goes to shit, I don't think I can stand it.
Yeah, I was like, and then they go out, they go to like watch manatees, and then they go to like what do you call it, like a lagoon,
Yeah.
where you see them smoke weed. I was like, no, don't end up like your brother, please.
Like, please, movie. It's enough torture. But like Luke hints at like, oh, my dad left because he's a piece of shit, but he has cancer now, and like the hospital has been calling him, saying like, oh, he has like a week or a few days left to live, and like at that point, Emily had a talk with the father where the dad tells her, like they have a nice exchange of like the dad being like, I don't know what to do anymore with this family, with your mom. I'm losing touch with her, and I don't know what to do. And he starts breaking down. She's like, it's okay, don't cry, dad. And then she starts explaining this shit, and her
Yeah,
hit
like
hits hard.
she thinks she was at fault because she could have stopped her brother.
Yeah.
She was at the party.
And she's like, he's a monster, and dad's like, he's not a monster, he's just a human being. Just did a really stupid, shitty thing. You're like, again, this conversation is just too real, too lifelike. You're like, you want to be like, stop it. But at the same time, you're just like watching him like,
Even my lips were kind of quivering. I was like, oh.
yeah. But they mend fences, and you're like, oh, good for them. Like, I hope there's hope for the future for these, and it definitely shows. And then when she was like asking Luke, like, you have to see your dad before he goes, I thought that's when things would get worse for her. But no, Luke is like, yeah, you have a point. I will go see him.
Luke was like the most understanding boyfriend.
Right?
I was like, this guy's so nice.
Didn't think it would take this direction, but sure. And then
Yeah, same here.
Luke gets to have closure with his dad, which is a very, very heartfelt, touching scene. Of like the dad realizing like, I wasn't the best, but this moment counts, and I'm gonna hang on as long as I can for you. You're like, oh fuck.
I remember him saying something. Like he said something to his son. I forgot what it was. Like again, it's very inaudible, but like you kind of get it. Like when he introduced Emily, and he was like beautiful, like underneath his breath.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And he did say something to Luke. I forgot what it was, but like it was very touching.
I think it's almost to be like he said something to the fact of like, I'm sorry for everything, but Luke was like, it's fine, we're all here now. We're like, fuck, this is the part of the movie where it starts ripping out her heart out, and like after,
I mean, it's been doing that for like the past 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, hour and 30.
Yeah. And at this point, like, Emily realizes like, oh, I kind of want to be a family again. She texts the mom, because the mom's like, Frank is like, you said you would be hanging out at your friend's dorm or something. Where the fuck are you? I'm just like, no, I'm sorry. I'll explain everything later. I just wanted us to be a family. And then she erases that, and she's like, oh, thank you for everything. Thank you for being my mom. And like, such a simple text, but again, you're just like, fuck, this fucking movie.
Yeah, but like you can see it starting with that. But it's still a bittersweet ending. Like she goes back. The family tries their best. Like the dad goes to church with her. The mom goes to prison to get closing conjugal visits.
Yeah.
And you're just like, so does he get out of jail? You're like, no.
And see just Emily riding along the bike with her bike, and you're like, I guess they just all have to do their best for now on. Just the only thing we really can do in this life. Like, fuck, this movie's too real. It came out in 2019, the year of like Endgame and other big movies, and this one really sticks out of like, this movie's just too real for words. I think it came out at the same time of like Uncut Gems, and you're like, damn, A24 is on a roll. Though I don't think we'll ever do Uncut Gems for a while, because it's a very stressful movie. So maybe in the future.
Like that shit gave me anxiety in the point of my life where I didn't really have that much.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, Adam Sandler's really good.
It's like everybody's like, "Oh, Adam Sandler was so good at Uncut Gems." Really, all I heard was shouting and yelling.
You're just like, I don't know if I can take this anymore. Do you want to finish the 13 minutes left? Not really, not tonight. No, thank you.
And I felt like I had an asthma attack when I was watching Uncut Gems.
Again, that's another movie that's a bit too real. Like, that's almost all of A24 movies. But yeah, it's a very bittersweet ending for Waze, and you're just left there being like, fuck.
Yeah, you're just like, "Oh, what's that for them?"
I hope. But yeah, what would you rate Waves?
You know what? Now that I properly fully watched Waves, like it wasn't just at the corner of my eye while I was slightly tipsy. I'll give this one, yeah, solid 9 out of 10. It is a really good movie. I feel like everybody should watch it. It is great cinematography. It's great soundtrack, and like, I don't know, it's a lot, and I have to put it in my shelf of, I'm happy I watched it. I will never watch it again.
What, really?
Yeah. Homie, really, you want to just like sit down and watch this again?
Maybe sometime in the future when I'm ready again. It's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie.
Okay, if ever I have like a kid, I'm like, okay, gotta rewatch this one just to make sure what not to do.
You know what? I really can't find any complaints with this movie, so I'll give this a 10 out of 10. Like, it's a very good movie, very emotional, real, visually pleasing, audibly pleasing movie that really comes only once in a lifetime, and it's studios like A24 that make it possible for movies to be made like this. Like, it literally cost like, I think like 5 million, and like it earned like twice that amount because it's such a simple setting premise, but like it just hits really hard. It's like, you're like, how can this movie affect me? And then you come out being like, oh man, why?
I hated that you put After Sun because I heard that was a feat to watch within this lineup. Yeah, so I'm like, shit. Alright, give me like 4 days to rest. then I'll watch After Sun.
All right, that's been our video on Waves. What do you guys think? Comment below. What's your favorite A24 movie? Whether it's this, Ex Machina, The Farewell, Uncut Gems, The Green Room, anywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. Whatever it is, comment down below. You can also find us on I was wondering how to do this on TikTok and Spotify. Spotify to hear us on the go. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. We also react to trailers. We also post like some of our best or funniest bloopers there. So stick around for that. Individually, you can find him at.
Oh, you know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say God Elvis. You can find me at JomG _ on Instagram.
And don't worry, folks, you can still find me here on Spotify and TikTok, editing and being on those videos. So yeah, until the next A24 movie, we will see you then. Bye, guys.